Okie. Itamexistiko, good day. It is the 1st of June, 2020, in the lunar cycle Apistishkit Satos, the flower moon. And I'm just setting off on a little walk around Spopikimi. Checked out my current phone data and noticed that I had probably 5 gigabytes left on my plan for the next, that recycles in the next few days. So figured this is a good time to make use of that data, do a little live video, walk around Spopikimi and see what's new. And I didn't know what to title it. They always want you to come up with the title of the video before you even head out. So first thing I seen was wild onions coming up. So I call it the rise of the onions. There's a lot of people here. I'm trying to avoid people, so I've gone off trail amidst this, not sure what species this grass is. This may be the Russian wild rye. I think it is, these tufts. I think these are the Russian wild rye. I don't know, when I get to a spot I'm familiar associating that plant to, because this is Russian wild rye right here. So I guess this other plant is not the same, but it might be. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens when the seeds come up on it. I was gonna say it's crested wheatgrass, but now I'm looking over this way and I'm seeing, here we got the, oh no, this is still Russian wild rye here. What, Russian wild rye? So this could be crested wheatgrass that's just coming up in here. We will find out. Yeah, this taller plant is the Russian wild rye. Still trying to learn all my grasses, So the wild rye is, oh, here's some crested wheatgrass right there. Yeah, so it is these tufts that are coming up. They're gonna, and we got 2 species of crested wheatgrass here. I don't know if they have actually different common names. They're very similar, but I'm sure they got different nomenclature in the science. There's a wild mustard. I think this is called flicksweed. And leafy spurge coming into bloom. One of the hated plants, because as you can see, it's totally taking over this place, All right, let's see if we can move through and avoid people. Here's another wild mustard. I'm not even sure common name for it. There might be another kind of flicksweed. Checking out the leaves. On North Pond here, the coots that I were watching seem to have taken off about maybe a week and a half ago. So we will not have coot nests here after all, unfortunately. Which sucks. I would sure like the coots to return. They used to nest here. Gonna be a warm day today. Surprisingly had no skunks or skunk babies or anything like that in cages this morning, nor the the beaver that I continue trying to trap. Yeah, my last 2 days or 3 days have been very busy with wildlife mitigation and such. Hello. And then we arranged to have today for the kids to go to their grandma's to be babysat, because I was hoping to catch the beaver. And of course, when I'm really available and stuff, not only did I not get the beaver, but I've got nothing. So all of these white flowers that you see here along this along the cut bank, along the bank is hey, from Boston. Hey, Daniel. This is all a wild mustard called lens-potted hoary cress. All of this white bloom along here. And I'm just kind of walking down the slope a little bit to show you the progress of dogbane as it's coming up. The New Year's supply of dogbane. That's a good example there. And then there's, I think right out here, this yellow bit. And this is gonna be something worth, if you live in Lethbridge, you'll want to check this stuff out in the coulees. It's bright. Hey, from Florida. So this bright yellow mustard with the leaf that looks like this. This leaf is, see if I can turn my camera around. Super hot, spicy, yum mustard leaf. Like really good stuff. Excellent. But, or this is meaning other things now. Better lay off the hand gestures. Check this out. Hold on a minute. Oh. It's a little spring azure butterfly moving around. He was visiting one of the mustards. One of the yellow ones, which I don't have a name for either. I just know it is the best mustard. It tastes really good. And there's lots of it out here too. Yeah, Canada is really nice, really pretty, and it looks, you know, it's a big place too. Like I'm showing you southern Alberta, which is one kind of look. And this is kind of Canada's equivalent to kind of the Missouri River area, basically. That's the kind of geography. But west coast of Canada is awesome as well. East coast, there's a there's a big stretch called Saskatchewan that you might want to just skip over. Everything's so much greener than even just like a week or two ago. You can see the geese are out on the wet meadows, which I expected after the fire this year. I've been noting this on all my visits, that where they normally hang out on this side of the water and go up, try to get on the golf greens and stuff. All the white flower tops, Dave, were lens-potted hoary cress. Yeah, so the geese are spending time out there. Their goslings are starting to turn, you know, brown and fuzzy instead of yellow. And I think they're gonna, while that wet meadows is you know, short grass because of the fire, I think they're gonna mostly raise super families out there and keep them out of this more trafficked area here. See if I can give you a good look at it. So it's a little ways away, so it probably is going to be a little difficult, but one sec here. The Beavers Scent Mound Island just has a little swarm of turtles on it. I don't know if you can see that leading off the left-hand side of the viewpoint here. Anyway, yeah, the waters are a little bit high. Oh, there goes a tree swallow. Waters are a little bit high. Not super flooding or anything, but and the river's been kind of that way as well. Probably owing to melt off, you know. It's been relatively hot for a week or more. Yeah, here's lots of different crested wheatgrass in here. We're gonna see those actually flower, actually come into bloom. This is where I learned this wheatgrass is the species that taught me that grass has flowers, like nice looking flowers if you look close. So pretty soon we're gonna see purple flowers on those. Oh, look who we have here on the path. Mr. Wandering Garter Snake. Looking like he really needs to shed. Oh, he's off. Off into the buckbrush and away from the curious monkey. Hey. So, well, just was looking at one, but not looking for them in particular. Yeah, little tree swallow. They are pretty nice looking, really kind of metallic blue. See if I can hold that steady. You probably can't really appreciate the, especially because the camera's jiggly. What? Lost my view there for a second. Yeah, all the goose nesting islands in the wide South Pool are now pretty much underwater. So those nests are over. I don't know whether or not the redhead couple decided to stay and actually nest. I kind of don't think so, because I haven't seen Mr. Redhead around at all. You know, even if she was sitting on a nest in the reeds somewhere, I think I'd see Mr. once in a while. Though they do, the redhead males do kind of flake out too. Just like the mallards. They got drakiness about them. Yeah, for southern Alberta, this is lush right now. This is getting into our greenest point, pretty much. You can see the cottonwood trees still have not opened their flower panicles. But they will come. I'm very curious about the mushroom situation on the wet meadows. Hoping that people didn't beat me to all the good mushrooms. Man, Saturday I swung past. I haven't been to the pond here for a few days. Saturday I swung past and the parking lot was just full. So many people visiting and fishing. That's what we should go check out. I bet if we go below the high level bridge, you'll see an example of fishing, which I am sometimes asked by, you know, new subscribers to the channel that are checking things out for a few weeks or whatever, and then they'll say like, come nobody ever fishing at that river? I'm just showing you here that the golden currants, well, not only the golden, but the red and black too, the flowers are pretty much played out, so they will be going to berry pretty soon. Yeah, people wonder why I never see anybody fishing, or I never show anybody fishing on the river here. And, you know, it's all about where are the fish and what time of year. And so, you know, right now we have sturgeon moving through, and some days, like on the weekend, I just seen so many fishermen lying in the shores between the high level bridge here and Whoop Up Bridge, the car bridge. Everybody trying to catch their sturgeon. Those poor fish coming through Lethbridge, they really got a gauntlet. Just kind of peek off over here, see what's going on in the berry brush. You can see, we'll get closer examples of this, but the chokecherry is still in bloom partially, and the honeysuckle is big in bloom right now. All kind of white and pink flowers, and even from my vantage point I can see there's lots of pollinators swarming around them. Lots of visitors. Hello. Hey. Oh, there's those. Hello. I'll show you these. This is the chokecherry. Still in full bloom. And the Saskatoon switching from flower to berry. Yeah, you can see the berries are just green. So we should get currants and Saskatoons almost simultaneously, and then chokecherry. Bullberry much later. There's some others. Oh, here's what do you call this? My mind is saying yucca, but it's not yucca. It's the classic anti-inflammatory, Achille millefolium, or what have you. What is that called? Oh my goodness. Yellow salsify is in bloom. An edible root, but it doesn't, it's an oyster root, but it doesn't taste anywhere near as halfway decent as the Yarrow. That's the name I was looking for. My mind had lost. Oh, look at, there's a little ambush predator waiting right here. Yarrow, very strong anti-inflammatory. Used in poultice form. Everything from bee stings to broken bones. See golden bean, which has been in bloom through the full lunar cycle here. In fact, this is what the flower moon is named after, it's the golden bean, Otseek, and oh, I hear catbirds. You hear them? Away. In Blackfoot, they're called boka, like children. Boka, book eggs. Yeah, I can still hear the yellow warblers, which are going to be very hard to see now, except for when they come down. And I think I just heard, yeah, an oriole just flying by, or flying into the canopy here. There are orioles, as we noted, I think in the last visit that I video recorded. We'll go see if there's anybody fishing up here. I've never tried fishing for the sturgeon. I don't think you're allowed to keep them. So to me, it just seems like a big torture event for human amusement, you know? Oh, here we got some dryland slope stuff. Got some prairie onion coming up. And the wild vetch. Wild vetch, this one is edible, but most wild vetches, most members of that vetch family, that pea family, you don't want to mess with. It's they're classically poisonous, and that's where plants like loco weed and stuff come from, you know. They mess you up. It's a large dog. He must be accompanied by a human somewhere. So far, just another dog. Oh, it's okay, as long as they're cool.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
the swim. This is hot.
Oh yeah. I was hoping to catch some of the sturgeon fishermen on.
Oh yeah, no fishermen. A couple beavers over there.
Oh yeah. I'll go check them out. Got a live tour going.
Today?
None today as yet.
I haven't seen any.
But we'll see. Well, I saw a garter snake back down the way, but no rattlesnake calls yet. No.
Check it out the video.
Thanks. Thank you. All right. Yeah, the water is pretty high, moving pretty fast. This has to be runoff. Snow melt from the glaciers. We had a little passing thunderstorm yesterday, but, well, a significant thunderstorm, but, you know. Oh, I missed somebody's message there. That answers my question. No snakes today. Well, no rattlesnake calls. I mean, as yet. This tour could be interrupted by a rattlesnake call if today's anything like the last few days. I had 5 calls the other day. Yesterday only 1. Today I actually did get 1 call earlier about somebody seeing a rattlesnake in the dry grass prairie behind Paradise Canyon, which is where the snakes live. A good pocket of them. So they were just told, yep, there'll be snakes over there. Most of the snake sightings that are in the coulees, I'm trying to just advise people to let the snakes be. Had a call the other day from sturgeon fishermen in Pavan Park, and they were saying there was a large bull snake there on the bank where all the sturgeons were, or where all the fishermen were hanging out, and am I going to do anything about that? And well, why don't you guys just leave the snake be. The snake will do the snake's thing, and you do your sturgeon catching thing. So that's the way it was. I am not seeing the beavers. Wouldn't surprise me though. When it starts to get, the water starts to get high like this, I think some of the bank lodges that are made by younger beavers, second, third year beavers and such, that might not have established families yet. I think some of them get swamped out by the floods. I've seen some interesting things. I've seen them come up over this, we're just about there, over this levee that's ahead of us, and coming from the river during floods, move over the levee and drop down into the pond. But the pond beavers had a sentinel at the north end to greet the ones that were coming over, and they did a little nose to body dance, turn around in the water, sniffing each other out, and the one that had come from the river was allowed to pass and move further into the pond. And maybe it was, I suspect it's because it was used to belong to the pond. That family in the pond's been very established, and they only kept one lodge for most of the time. And so every year there must be 1 or 2 family members moving out and moving to the river. Still got some diamond willow down in here in what I call the owlwood, which is nice because the forest main's diamond willow got obliterated. I'll have to kind of keep an eye on this area here and see maybe the sapsuckers who were in the forest main last year. Maybe they'll come over here. Maybe there's enough resources for them to stick around Spopikami using the owl wood. I don't know. This thing honestly, I don't know what this is called. I think it might be called a mock orange. Maybe somebody who's watching will correct me or confirm. But it's the only one of its kind at Spopikami. I think we got them more up in the foothills in the mountains. But finally caught me live, hey? Yeah, up in the foothills of the mountains, but not generally down here. So it's kind of a unique plant. I don't pay enough attention to it, given it's the only representative of its kind here. But I think some people might keep them as ornamentals. I think they grow a bright orange berry later on in the summer. All right, let's head down into the forest main and make our way to the wet meadows. Like I say, I'm particularly keen on mushrooms. What's going on? Saw you barefooted playing basketball as part of your black... So what? Hold on. It's part of your Blackfoot thing you follow? Whoops. No. I just happened to have a basketball. I had that basketball from when I was working security maybe 5 years ago. And yeah, there were some nights when I was staying at this middle school. They were building the whole playground for the middle school was built, including a really nice basketball court, but the building itself had a ways to go. So I was spending long nights out there, and you know, the other security guards around town would get bored. And so in the middle of the night, I'd call some of us together at the middle school to have, you know, little games of basketball, you know, just to break up the monotony of trying to stay up all night doing security. So I don't play a lot of basketball. I really, really suck at it. I think I played 1 year of basketball when I was a kid. I should just note right here that this is the silverberry or wolf willow. And it just, like, when it's flowering right as it is right now, it just, the scent is so strong in the air here, and it really smells nice. But it's deceiving because in Blackfoot, this plant, one of its names, well, it's got two names just like English. English has silverberry and wolf willow, and in Blackfoot it's got Gupsi and Mississami sois, which is like the shit willow, shit smelling willow, because when you burn the wood, it stinks, but the flowers are really nice. Yeah, anyway, I'm terrible at basketball and I'm totally unpracticed at it, but when I bring the kids to the playgrounds here, you know, that's something that I can kind of get into, and just mucking around with a basketball. So yeah, has nothing to do with anything, and I'm just barefoot because I'm a barefooter, you know. Most Blackfoot people do not barefoot. It's a Ryan thing. Oh, tempted to drive my truck in here and take a couple of these nice logs as stools for the backyard. Might have to do that at some point when it's less busy. Yeah, it kind of feels like, I don't know how it feels everywhere else, but over here, kind of feels like everybody is done playing COVID. People are not being too careful at all. I'm glad some of these, I just should note, because we're going through here, some of these asparagus survived the over harvesters who came through, and it's always that way. There's always some that remain unfound or that spring back up after the harvester has taken the first shoot close to the ground. But oh, here's some that's even in flower. Look at that. Yeah, we're coming into flower. It's got flower buds just about to open. We also have milkweed, showy milkweed coming up, and its little flower pods. And those, by the way, are the only things edible on this plant. If you want to eat milkweed, some nice asparagus. Yeah, if you want to eat milkweed, it's this flower bundle, unopened, unflowered, that you want to gather, and you just kind of saute that thing and eat it up. And it doesn't have much of a flavor to speak of, you know, but it's edible, whereas all the rest of the plant, all the rest of the year is not. But the monarch butterflies rely on it. That's its big claim to fame, the milkweed. Everybody touts the milkweed because that's what the monarch butterfly caterpillars rely on. The monarchs have to lay their eggs on the milkweed, and their caterpillars eat the milkweed to grow to then eventually become monarchs themselves. So there was a period here not long ago, a few years back, when a bunch of nature enthusiasts around town started planting milkweed to help the monarch population that we don't have. I have seen one monarch butterfly at Spopikami in my years of visiting this place, and but for the most part, no. We do have a monarch mimic, a viceroy, that sometimes is here in abundance some years, but no monarchs really to speak of. Here, what we should be more concerned with keeping the milkweed around for is as a source of fiber for the orioles, because the orioles use that fiber of the milkweed plant to build their nests. So there you have it. Yeah, real nice and green. Okie Colby. Yeah, the waters are high, the wet meadows are wet, which is nice. Should have a good crop of mint here later in the summer as a result. You can see down here at the water's edge, You've got the new cattail shoots coming up. This is the time of year for harvesting those cattail shoots. And if I didn't have this boot on my foot, I would wade in there and harvest one for you to demonstrate. They have a really nice kind of shoot core. I don't even know what you'd call it, but it's like a little vegetable running up the core of the shoot. So you peel away a few of the leaves to reveal that kind of white core, and it tastes kind of like a cucumber. It's that kind of taste to it. More asparagus. Survived the... I'm coming into the goose families here. I don't know if you can see them. My leg is, well, it's a leg. It's coming along, I suppose. It's not inflamed anymore. But I'm feeling a lot of tension in different muscles and tendons, I think, especially around my thigh on that leg, and a little bit maybe in the ligaments around my knee, just because my body is not used to walking with any, like, you know, footwear this constantly, and especially not you know, such a restrictive footwear as this air boot is. I hope it doesn't muck everything else up while I'm healing those muscles. Yeah, we got little goslings here. I'll see if I can zoom in and see them in the grass there. Yeah, they're not the yellow fuzzies anymore. They're starting to change a bit. But yeah, and there we got more coming behind their parents here. So these are what's known as super families, when you have these mergings of geese with the goslings. And sometimes you end up with a lot of the adult geese kind of ditching out and leaving just a few of them to tend to, you know, 20, 30, 40 goslings. But it's good, you know, good protection in the masses. Decreases your own chances of getting hit by a predator and just makes you a bigger force altogether. More eyes to look out, you know. It's all strategic, and it's cool that they can be on the wet meadows this year, although I think probably wild licorice and some of the new willow shoots and stuff, all of these things are gonna maybe coming call from a number that might be the University of Lethbridge security. So I might have a rattlesnake call coming on, but try to finish the walk here. If it's ULETH security, they'll have a guard hanging out with it for a few minutes, and we're almost to North Pond anyway. Yeah, right along this walk through here is where I would expect to find the mushroom crop that I am looking for, that I know from other people's Facebook feeds has come up in other places of the coulees, if not here, but I'm not seeing any representative of those mushrooms as yet. And I suspect they have not gone unnoticed by the passing masses. We get a really good crop of morel mushrooms right in here that are well, they're valuable mushrooms on the market in general, but they're, you know, as far as mushrooms go, one of the ones that I will eat. I will not eat any commercial mushrooms, you know, if I can help it. Not the standard ones anyway. Get in a call again. I'm betting it's a snake. So I'm probably gonna cut this video short so I can rush off to deal with it. Well, I can bring you to the parking lot with me. I should touch base with those guys, otherwise they're gonna start calling city bylaw officers and stuff and wondering if somebody else can come and deal with their issues. So yep, that's the life of the snake guy. You gotta be on call. But anyway, I think you got a pretty good look at what I was hoping to show out here, which is just what's new, what's coming up, what's blooming, etc., etc. Oh, it's becoming an obstacle course to move through here without getting my boot wet. All right, you guys. So I guess that'll be it for this afternoon. Gonna give that number a call back and see if I have a snake to deal with. I think so. I think I recognize that as a university number. So catch you all later, and stay safe. Don't forget that even though we got tired of COVID, COVID might not be tired of us.